Hey everybody, and welcome to my N5 series on the SP404 Mark II, where I cover a topic in about 5 minutes. Over on Reddit, Prior Ebb wrote in and says, I can't seem to cut the resample loop correctly. I just recently obtained an 404 Mark II and got the basics down pretty well aside from sampling. I'm doing some jungle stuff as a first, so I'll heavily quantize drums, which turn out well, but any pad melodies I have to trim, but I never seem to get the trim right. I'll have the drums and pads going in a pad link, and they seem to be on time at first, but then it slowly drifts away from each other. I do not understand what I'm doing wrong. I suspect that you're trying to run two things that have a different BPM, then they probably have two different BPMs. Is effectively what you have as a problem. There's a few ways you can go about fixing that, but let's just start. I've got over here on the TP7, I've loaded up just a bunch of like different drum tracks and can be fun to, I don't know, I like just resampling off of stuff. So I just took Ableton Live, prepared a bunch of kits. So this will be kind of like recording off of a record or something. We're just gonna find something that we like. Maybe that one's fine. All right, so let's prepare this first drum loop. So I got to come in, and I got to find that. I'm gonna hit resample so we have 0 cross on, because that's gonna make it so it's not gonna sound so bad. So the first drum hit in that different loop is like around here. We'll get zoomed in further. Okay, looks like it's right about there. And again, I'm kind of cheating because I've prepared a bunch of stuff on the TP7 here, but the concept's going to work the same. Okay, so the other thing is it looks like the endpoint is around here, what I just visually saw and heard, and we're going to get this pretty close to the 0 point. A thing I will note, if you don't know this, you can hit the roll button and it won't start from the beginning. Instead, it starts like a second or so earlier, so you don't have to like listen through the whole loop to try and find your endpoint. Just a quick little thing in case you need something like that. All right, so I'm going to zoom out. Let's just hit loop, and I'm going to hold this down. You're going to notice the loop point is in the middle. I know a lot of people complain about this. The reason why is if you move your start point out, the loop point, even though it's invisible if you don't have looping on, moves with the start out, but it does not move back with start. And similarly, if you move end backwards and loops like over here, it's going to move back. So I just always try and remember, just go all the way counterclockwise to get your loop point at the beginning if that's what you want. Anyway, I'm going to go menu, I'm going to go truncate. Let's just get rid of that other. I probably shouldn't have done that first, because if this sounds terrible, I'll have to re-record. Let's see. So, seems fine. I'm okay. All right, I'm going to switch over to some keys and piano sounds that I've got now. And we're going to play this. I'm actually going to pitch this down because I think this is what you're having for a problem. Because all these that I've prepared for this are 160 BPM, just so it's easier for me mentally to work with. But let's go in. We're going to play this. Let's just pitch it down a bit. All right, I think that's the one I want. So we're going to exit out of here. Hit record. Go to pad 2. All right, I think that was a decent loop. We just now got to go prepare it the same way. So it sounds like it's like around here. We'll zoom in a second. And end is about here. So let's zoom in. We'll kind of tweak the start here. Again, kind of a weird. There we go. Probably around there is the start. I was close enough. All right, now we need to do the same thing for the end. So I'm going to zoom out because I don't want to control the end so much. All right, sounds like we got like this next loop coming in, so I'm just going to go here. So again, we'll zoom back out. Let's turn loop on. Let's just see how this sounds. And again, go to adjust loop to the beginning. Sounds good. So again, I'm just going to truncate this. The reason why I'm doing this is just to get rid of like whatever extra cruft is in there. Sometimes there might be like when I was like recording and kind of getting some scratches I might want to have pulled out. But in this case, just to kind of show you what I think you have going on is you have your two loops and we got the drums. We got this piano. We got them both looped. You have mentioned that you're doing pad link. So let's just link these two together so that they're going to start at the same time, which is correct. But we're going to hear that they're going to get out of sync pretty quickly. And yeah, you can hear it's like already getting like pretty quickly out of sync. And the reason for this is basically I know that this is 160 BPM. I pitched this down, so it's probably like around 155 or something. So every time you're already gonna start in sync and then immediately get out of sync. So to fix this, there's a couple things that you at least want to think about doing. One is let's go in here. I'll show you like the actual problem is here. You can see the pad 1 is 287,912 samples. It starts at 0, ends at 287,912. So you want to make sure if you're setting up loops, they have to be the exact same length. So if we go to the second one here and hold shift and enter, you can see this is 300,918. So effectively, one's going to be looping at a certain speed, and then you have this other loop that is going to be slowly, it's going to take longer to get through, or it's going to go through faster the loop. So it's going to be, even though the pad link is causing them to start at the same time, they're going to get out of sync over time. A couple things you can do. One, we happen to know that this is 160 BPM, so, or effectively it is. I could come in and do pitch and speed. I could switch to auto, and we can just see what it comes up with for a BPM. We know it's in the range of 100 to 199, so let's just go do it. It says 160.06. I may not have chopped this perfectly, so it's very possible that that is a correct value. Similarly, let's go auto. This doesn't always work well, so be cautious of what it tells you, but I'm going to put in again, 199. So it says 153.02, and I was expecting it to be 150 to 155. I'm going to tend to believe it only because I did pitch it down a little bit. So given that, if we want these to stay in sync now, the important thing you need to do is hit BPM sync and BPM sync. And the reason why it's switching to 128 is because that's what the bank is set to. So if I want these to stay in sync, I have to hit shift pad 11 and I set the BPM sync to keep them in sync. If I want them to actually stay around 160 or whatever, I can do to 160, 153, 155. It's going to at least now force these to run at that speed so that their pad length, they'll play together and they should stay in sync forever. To me, that already sounds like immediately much better. Sounds like it's staying in sync and all that stuff. So I hope that helps you out, Prior Ebb. Anyway, everybody else, thanks for stopping by. Keep making music, keep having fun. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good. And peace.